A reading from Leviticus. Today is April 14th. Our reading from Leviticus is chapter 14. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "This shall be the ritual for a leper at the time that he is to be cleansed. When it has been reported to the priest shall go outside the camp. If the priest sees that the leper has been healed of his scaly affection, the priest shall order 2 live, clean birds, cedar wood, crimson stuff, and hyssop to be brought for him who is to be cleansed. The priest shall order one of the birds slaughtered over fresh water in an earthen vessel, and he shall take the live bird along with the cedar wood, the crimson stuff, and the hyssop, and dip them together with the live bird in the blood of the bird that was slaughtered over the fresh water. He shall then sprinkle it 7 times on him who is to be cleansed of the eruption, and cleanse him, and he shall set the live bird free in the open country. The one to be cleansed shall wash his clothes, shave off all his hair, and bathe in water, then he shall be clean. After that he may enter the camp, but he must remain outside his tent 7 days. On the 7th day he shall shave off all his hair of head, beard, and eyebrows. When he has shaved off all his hair, he shall wash his clothes and bathe his body in water. Then he shall be clean. On the 8th day he shall take 2 male lambs without blemish, 1 ewe lamb in its first year without blemish, 3/10 of a measure of choice flour with oil mixed in for a meal offering, and 1 log of oil. These shall be presented before the Lord with the man to be cleansed, at the entrance of the tent of meeting, by the priest who performs the cleansing. The priest shall take 1 of the male lambs and offer it with the log of oil as a guilt offering, and he shall elevate them as an elevation offering before the Lord. The lamb shall be slaughtered at the spot in the sacred area where the sin offering and the burnt offering are slaughtered. For the guilt offering, like the sin offering, goes to the priest. It is most holy. The priest shall take some of the blood of the guilt offering, and the priest shall put it on the ridge of the right ear of him who is being cleansed, and on the thumb of the right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. The priest shall then take some of the log of oil, and pour it into the palm of his own left hand, and the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil that is in the palm of his left hand, and sprinkle some of the oil with his finger 7 times before the Lord. Some of the oil left in his palm shall be put by the priest on the ridge of the right ear of the one being cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, over the blood of the guilt offering. The rest of the oil in his palm the priest shall put on the head of the one being cleansed. Thus the priest shall make expiation for him before the Lord. The priest shall then offer the sin offering and make expiation for the one being cleansed of his uncleanliness. Last, the burnt offering shall be slaughtered, and the priest shall offer the burnt offering and the meal offering on the altar, and the priest shall make expiation of him. Then he shall be clean. If, however, he is poor and his means are insufficient, he shall take 1 male lamb for a guilt offering to be elevated in expiation for him, 1/10 of a measure of choice flour with oil mixed in for a meal offering, and a log of oil, and 2 turtle doves or 2 pigeons, depending on his means, the one to be the sin offering, the other the burnt offering. On the 8th day of his cleansing, he shall bring to the priest at the entrance of the tent of meeting before the Lord. The priest shall take the lamb of guilt offering and the log of oil and elevate them as an elevation offering before the Lord. When the lamb of guilt offering has been slaughtered, the priest shall take some of the blood of the guilt offering and put it on the ridge of the right ear of the one being cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. The priest shall then pour some of the oil into the palm of his own left hand, and with the finger on his right hand the priest shall sprinkle some of the oil that is in the palm of his left hand 7 times before the Lord. Some of the oil in his palm shall be put by the priest on the ridge of the right ear of the one being cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, over the same places as the blood of the guilt offering. And what is left of the oil in his palm the priest shall put on the head of the one being cleansed, to make expiation for him before the Lord. He shall then offer 1 of the turtle doves or pigeons, depending on his means, whichever he can afford, the one as a sin offering and the other as a burnt offering. together with the meal offering. Thus the priest shall make expiation before the Lord for the one being cleansed. Such is the ritual for him who has a scaly affection, and whom means for his cleanliness, for his cleansing, are limited. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, When you enter the land of Canaan that I give you as a possession, and I inflict an eruptive plague upon a house in the land you possess, the owner of the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, Something like a plague has appeared upon my house. The priest shall order the house be cleared before the priest enters to examine the plague, so that nothing in the house may become unclean. After that, the priest shall enter to examine the house. If, when he examines the plague in the walls of the house is found to consist of greenish or reddish streaks that appear to go deep into the wall, the priest shall come out of the house to the entrance of the house and close up the house for 7 days. On the 7th day the priest shall return. If he sees that the plague had spread on the walls of the house, the priest shall order the stones with the plague in them to be pulled out and cast outside the city into an unclean place. The house shall be scraped inside all around, and the coating that is scraped off shall be dumped outside the city in an unclean place. They shall take the other stones and replace those stones with them, and take other coating and plaster the house. If the plague again breaks out in the house after the stones have been pulled out, and after the house has been scraped and replastered, the priest shall come to examine. If the plague has spread in the house, it is a malignant eruption in the house, it is unclean. The house shall be torn down, its stones and timber, and all the coating on the house, and taken to an unclean place outside the city. Whoever enters the house while it is closed up shall be unclean until evening. Whoever sleeps in the house must wash his clothes, and whoever eats in the house must wash his clothes. If, however, the priest comes and sees that the plague has not spread in the house after the house was replastered, the priest shall pronounce the house clean, for the plague has healed. To purge the house, he shall take 2 birds, cedar wood, crimson stuff, and hyssop. He shall slaughter the one bird over fresh water in an earthen vessel. He shall take the cedar wood, the hyssop, the crimson stuff, and the live bird, and dip them in the blood of the slaughtered bird and the fresh water, and sprinkle on the house 7 times. Having purged the house with the blood of the bird and fresh water, the live bird, the cedar wood, the hyssop, and the crimson stuff, he shall set the live bird free outside the city in the open country. Thus he shall make expiation for the house, and it shall be clean. Such is the ritual for every eruptive affection, for scalds, for an eruption on a cloth or a house, for swellings, for rashes, or for discolorations, to determine whether they are unclean and when they are clean. Such is the ritual concerning eruptions.